Hello, Dylan. How are you?
I am fine. Just ready for Sunday dinner. What are you snacking on?
Just a pack of cookies I found in my lunch bag. Do you want some?
No, you don't have a lot. Go ahead and enjoy your snack.
How am I going to enjoy my snack knowing that you are hungry too? Here, please.
Thanks. Thanks, KK. Your kindness and generosity means everything to me.
I love you, Dylan. I enjoy sharing with you. Besides, God will always provide what we need.
That is so true. Thanks again for sharing with me.
Over the past few weeks, we have been talking about our 4 values. Do you remember them? Let's say them together. Number 1, love God. Number 2, love one another. Number 3, respect one another. And number 4, believe you have a purpose. Good job, RP kids.
Being generous and giving from our heart is a great way to demonstrate our 4 values.
Yes, I agree. RP kids, do you know what time it is?
It sounds like we are about to do my favorite part of the service, praise and worship.
Yes, praise and worship is an opportunity for us to thank God for all He has done, to honor God for who He is.
We need all of you at home to stand to your feet and help us worship God this morning.
I lay my life down at your feet. You're the only one I need. I turn to you and you are always there. In troubled times it's you I see. I put you first, that's all I need. I humble all I am, all to you. One way, Jesus, you're the only one that I could live for. One way, Jesus, you're the only one that I could live for. One way, Jesus, you're the only one that I could live for. One way, Jesus, you're the only one that I could live for. You're the only one, you're the only one, you're the only one that I could live for. You're the only one, you're the only one, you're the only one that I could live for. But what we're gonna do now is we're all gonna get down nice and low. That's it, how low can you go? And we're gonna sing, you are the way, the truth and the life. Come on, let me hear ya. You are the way, the truth and the life. We live by faith and not by sight for you. We're living all for you. Up a bit higher. You are the way, the truth and the life. We live by faith and not by sight for you. We're living all for you. You are the way. You are the way, the truth and the life. We live by faith and not by sight for you. We're living all for you. You are the way, the truth and the life. We live by faith and not by sight for you. We're living all for you. One way, Jesus, you're the only one that I could live for. One way, Jesus, you're the only one that I could live for. One way, Jesus, you're the only one that I could live for. One way, Jesus, you're the only one that I could live for.
Praise and worship was amazing. Now it's time to practice our memory verse for the month. Remember, our theme for this month is a spirit of generosity. So our memory verse is all about generosity. Just listen the first time. A person who gives to others will get richer. Whoever helps others will himself be helped. Proverbs 11:25. Now, let's say it again. Repeat after me. A person who gives
A person who gives
to others
to others
will get richer.
will get richer.
Whoever helps
Whoever helps
Others will
Others will
himself be helped.
himself be helped.
Proverbs 11:25. Great job, everyone. Now it's time for the main lesson. Hi, Miss Shonda.
Thanks, KK and Dylan. I am so proud of you two for sharing your snack. God wants us to be generous and give from our heart. Amazing things happen to us all the time. Today we are going to hear a story about something amazing that happened to a man named Elijah. The amazing thing that happened to Elijah wasn't by choice. God made things happen so that Elijah would be cared for. He was cared for through the generosity of a stranger. Let's take a look at Elijah and the widow. This Bible lesson can be found in 1 Kings 17, 7 through 24.
Hi, my name is Ashley. Are you ready for Bible Tale Time? Today, I'm going to tell you the story about a widow. A widow is a woman who has lost her husband. This widow lives in the town of Zarephath, and she has a son. In her town, it hadn't rained in a long time. Even the stream nearby had dried up. And because of that, a lot of people in the town had no food to eat. One day, with her stomach growling with hunger, the widow went out to gather sticks. She wanted to start a fire so that she could bake one last loaf of bread with what little flour and oil she had left, so that she and her son could eat one last meal and die. As the widow passed through the town gate, a stranger called and asked her for some water. When she was going to get the water, the stranger asked her to bring him a bit of bread too. The widow was shocked. She might have been thinking, "Didn't you realize that there was no food? Am I supposed to share what little I had left with a stranger?" The widow then replied to the stranger saying that she doesn't have any bread. All she had left was a little amount of flour and olive oil. The hungry widow didn't know that the stranger was Elijah, who is God's prophet, and the widow was chosen to help Elijah to survive the famine. God's prophet is a man chosen by God to help the people communicate with God before Jesus came. The widow didn't know what to do because she only had enough left for one last meal for herself and her son. Elijah told the widow not to worry and to go make bread for him first. Elijah assured her that God promised that there will be more than enough until God sends rain. While she was walking to her house, 1,000 questions must be running through her mind. The flour and the oil will not run out, but who will fill it? Should I really share the last bread I have with him? Will God really provide? After making the bread for Elijah, she peeked into her jar, and she was shocked. There was more flour. Then she peeked into her jug, and there was more oil. And every day after that, there was enough flour and oil, just as what God told Elijah. Sometimes it is hard to share what we have, especially when we don't have enough. The widow was afraid to share her last meal with Elijah, but she did it anyway, and God blessed her. You can be kind, just like the widow too. Let's learn to be kind and generous by sharing and being a blessing to the people around us.
Wow! What do you do when you get hungry or thirsty? Usually we can ask our mom or dad to help provide when we need something. Well, Elijah had nothing, but God instructed him what to do. Elijah had to trust these strange directions, and he had to follow God's instructions without question. He goes to the widow that God told him about and finds her just as promised. Her answer seems to throw a wrench in the plan. Though God is about to do something truly amazing for her, not only is he taking care of Elijah, he is also using Elijah to help someone else in need. This widow had reached the end of her rope and was all out of hope. But Elijah knew that God always has a plan. He knew that he had to leave faith in God to provide what they would need, and God never fails. A tiny drop of oil and a bit of flour turned into more than enough food. Elijah asked the widow to use all of the food that she had to make him some bread. The widow didn't want to do this at first because she only had enough oil and flour to make one more meal, and she didn't want to waste her food. But God did something amazing for Elijah and the widow. For as long as they needed, the oil and flour did not run out. God provided for Elijah, and Elijah trusted God without a doubt. The widow's generosity reminds us that God is always working in our lives. Just like Elijah, we must ask God for wisdom and strength in making choices, and also for gratitude in what He has already granted. So let's do trivia a little different today. Let's do a multiple choice questions. Number 1, who did God say would provide food for Elijah? A, the widow. B, the baker. Did you say A, the widow? Good job. Number 2, why didn't the widow want to make food for Elijah? A, because he was a stranger. B, because she only had enough food and oil to make one more cake of bread. Did you say B? Good job. She only had enough flour and oil to make one more cake of bread. After that, she thought her and her son would die. Number 3, what did God do so that they would all have food to eat? A, God did not let the oil or flour run out. B, God sent a neighbor to provide food each day. Did you say A? Great job, RP Kids. Last question. Number 4, what 3 people did God provide for? A, Elijah, the neighbor, and the baker, or B, the widow, her son, and Elijah? Did you say B? Wow, you guys are awesome. Yes, He kept them all fed during the drought. So, RP Kids, always ask God to help us honor Him in all that we say and do. God also provided food for the widow and her son because she was willing to trust that God was speaking through Elijah. Elijah fully trusted the Lord, and God provided for all of Elijah's needs. See you next week.
That was an awesome lesson. We still want to see your videos. Last week, we asked you to send us a video of a prayer thanking God for His generosity. This week, we want you to share stories about you being generous or someone showing generosity towards you.
We can't wait to see all your videos. Be sure to get your parents' permission and send them to the address at the bottom of the screen. Keep exercising our theme by having a heart of generosity. See you next time. Bye.